does
Sorry.
happen.
Welcome into So Let Me Ask You This. Two buddies discussing life's trivial topics and insignificant issues. I'm Martin Weiss, joined here, as always, with my good friend and confidant, TK Taylor Kennedy. How are you today?
Hello, guys. I'm doing well. I am feeling like how you felt last week. I think extremely tired, but it's all good. It was worth it. I've been ripping and running literally since like 9 p.m. last night.
Well, I have not. I have been big chilling and got great sleep last night. Took an amazing nap today, which honestly, the nap I took today, I almost did not make it out to the haircut that I recently got. But I was paid the highest compliment that I feel that a black man can receive from a stranger today. Walking into the barbershop. Walking into the shop. A woman, probably, I'll give her maybe 20 years older than me, right? So prime auntie status. So I like that color on you, baby. As I walked in front of her car.
Did you have on this orange shirt that you're wearing right now?
I may never take this orange shirt off. What do you mean?
All right. Okay.
And I have orange Nike socks on, which if I had better flexibility, but I'm not going to embarrass myself. But yeah, I was just kind of threw something on, and then she's like that color on you, baby. And I said, you know what? Thank you. On the way in to getting the haircut, not even on the way out to getting the haircut. So not only I got auntie compliment energy and fresh haircut energy back to back. So while I can sympathize with the fact that you have been running and ripping and are stressed out, I am like cloud 10, maybe cloud 9 doesn't cut it.
You about to go hit the town. You're on the way to downtown LA or wherever it is, y'all. 73 Spire or whatever it's called.
Probably not, but I'll probably be on the way to the living room after this. But I could go. I'd be ready to go.
Yeah. I hear you. No, man, I'm not stressed. I just been ripping and running. Today I had my first catering for my smoked meat, smoking with Ted, or it's smoking with Ted, which is, for those in Dallas, I smoke barbecue, brisket, ribs, whatever you can smoke. I pretty much probably can.
I need you to be a better salesman. Come on, those in the Dallas area smoking with Ted. We got brisket, we got links, we got sausage patties, we got macaroni and cheese and baked beans. Come on, baby, we got everything you need.
About to put me on the commercial.
2 for $20. I mean, come on, man.
That's cheap. Plates $20, 2 for $35, because brisket is expensive, and it's Angus beef, so it's good beef. But yeah, I had my first catering today, so shout out to me. Insert claps. Yeah, man. So I'm not stressed at all. It was actually really dope. It's just I had to smoke brisket through the night because it was picked up this morning at like 10 a.m. So for those that have ever smoked any brisket or anything close to it, it's a 12 to 14 hour process. So it's gonna take some time out your day, but it's cool. I wasn't tripping. Woke up once an hour, added some wood to my smoker, mixed some things around, spritzed my brisket off.
Wait. You woke up once every hour?
Yep.
Yeah, see, cooking's not for me. Well,
there's a difference between...
No, but it's just in general. Like the things that people do, like, don't get me wrong. I will be able to cook to be able to sustain myself. Like I live by myself and I eat
for sure
every single day. I promise. Right. I always find some way to sustain myself. And generally it comes out of the four walls of my kitchen. But the idea of like cooking for others, or like, a woman who asks, do you know how to cook? It's like, I know how to cook. I would never brag about my cooking. I would never be like, yo, I just made this. It's so good. You got to try it. Now, if you're hungry, I'll go scramble some eggs. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to die in the kitchen. Like, I feel like there's some people, you put them in a pantry, you put the wrong person in the wrong aisle at Kroger, and they're lost without a microwave. I'm not that person.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
But I'm never, ever, ever going to sell a plate of my food for $20. It's just because I'll never get up every hour. That's never going to be me.
So I started later than what I was expecting to or designed to. I went to the gym last night, so I didn't get started until later. And then when I got started, I was up until like probably like 2, and then I started to fall asleep. So from 2, 3, and 4, I woke up each hour and did what I had to do. Like I said, added wood to but they have cheats around that though. So I've been looking into, and let's say it's smoking takes off. Hopefully it does. Everybody in Dallas, come get you some brisket so it can take off. But they have a Traeger.
The way, I saw Smoking with Ted. I got brisket. If you like some brisket, come over in the morning. I've been up all night.
No, but they have a smoker out there. It's called a Traeger. And it's a brand, but one of the more expensive ones. It's like $1,200, but it has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth, and all of these things on there. So it's kind of like a set it, smoke it, leave it. So if I get to that level, then we're in a whole different business. You know what I'm saying? I'm from my phone at that point, making adjustments and rolling back over and going to bed. So I'm not there yet though. You gotta get your feet dirty first.
Yeah, see, and that's the other thing why I know cooking is not for me, because like when people like, how when people like when I get to the next level, it's gonna be like this, and I'm like, man, that sounds slightly less unappealing, but still very unappealing.
Yeah, it's just not your thing, bro. It's okay though.
It's okay. It's like all right. Like I know a professional bodybuilder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about like when he gets to his next level, he's cutting out rice. I was like, it sounds miserable, bro. It sounds terrible. And I understand that you could run through this wall. I understand you could run through this wall, literally run through the wall if you wanted to. Just need a football helmet, right? But Greg, I'm not with it, man. Like, enjoy it. Like, I want to eat like a fried oyster every now and then.
Yeah, no, see, like I love lifting. We talked about this before. Like I love lifting weights. I do lift weights. I love to lift weights. It's a stress killer, I guess, for myself. But
sure.
But I am never going to get to the point to where I'm like eating strictly, yogurt and sweet potatoes or something. Like, no, bro. Like, I'm sorry. I work out partially because I want to be able to eat what I want to and not like have to worry about looking like a blimp. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro. Who knows when God's gonna take me, but I'm gonna enjoy my food in the meantime. You feel me?
I personally feel like I take pretty good care of myself, but I do not. My body is not. Then I use my body every day, obviously, but the performance of my body on a day in, day out basis does not necessarily determine my job status. Like I am not a professional football player, right? If I was a professional football player, the performance of my body would determine my overall job status, right? Like I need to now, like if I break my hand, it's incredibly more significant than if a football player twists his ankle, right? Because I can't work in the same way. I need to be able to type, right?
Yeah.
But I ask you, TK, you played football in high school. I did not. I played basketball.
Yeah, we sucked.
But you talking about your team? Or you? Who is we?
Our team. Yeah, we overall we weren't very good. I mean, I was solid. Shout out to the jersey. Wrong jersey. Jersey in the back. My uncle was much better. But yeah, I was solid, but we had a few people, but overall the team sucked. But anyway, get to your question. I'm sorry.
But see, so but you and I, like, I don't know, 99.99% of athletes did not get to choose when our athletic careers ended. They were ended for us, right? We were not chosen to continue to participate.
Right.
And sometimes I don't really want to do this often, right? Because I was a rotational player. I started some games. I was on the bench, and I knew early on, I knew in the 10th grade that I was not going to be making any money playing basketball, probably not even getting a college education playing basketball, because the dudes who was getting college educations playing basketball were entirely better than I was.
Right. I follow you.
But I have wondered at times what I would do for the opportunity to play in a real game again. Right? Because for many people, that's the last time you have a real game. Right. Like, I understand that we'll all go and we may play our flag footballs and our adult league basketballs, and you have a ref and all of that, but that's not a real game in the sense that your girl might be there, but there's not cheerleaders.
Nah.
Somebody's kids might be there, but there's not fans.
Nah.
If it's being recorded, it's on Facebook Live, not ESPN.
If that. Yeah, if it's really on your phone.
That's what I'm saying. Probably so, right? And you're posting your own highlights, right?
Yeah.
It's a very humbling experience. Right, exactly. Highlights in quotes for those who can only hear us. But it's a very humbling experience, especially when you're used to playing in gyms and with fans. And not to say that we ever played in massive big gyms or in super big games. I played in one or two my 9th grade year, but nothing worth writing about.
Right.
Just makes you wonder, what would you do? And a school in Ohio, school in the same quotations that highlights was in a couple seconds ago, did just that.
Yeah.
Bishop Sycamore High School, potentially, allegedly, on the high school part. This is what's the alleged. Yeah. The alleged is the high school part. What is definite and true fact, they played a football game on Friday and then played a following football game the next Sunday. Not 9 days later, 2 days later, on ESPN.
Yeah.
Against IMG Academy, which, if you're not familiar, is just a powerhouse high school athletic school.
Prep school.
Yeah. Prep school. Thank you.
It's Oak Hill. It's Oak Hill of the football world. Oak Hill back in the day with Carmelo and whoever else they put out, right?
No, yeah, it's legitimately one of the, like, it's a football factory. Like, you'll see there's a ton of people in the NFL that have touches with IMG Academy. Excuse me.
Which is insane. This new breed of athlete and the way that they are recruited and moved on to the next level is absolutely insane. I want to touch on this for a second. So when I was done playing football, right? And as you mentioned, I didn't really necessarily decide when my time was done. Time decided for me, right? Like, I had a couple, air quote offers. I had a couple schools that I could have gone and, played at and walked on, air quotes again, or whatever, right? But overall, my time playing football was toast, right? At the end of my high school career, I will be honest, my freshman year in college and a little bit of my sophomore, I didn't watch much football at all. I truly didn't, because it like kind of hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to know that I wasn't playing anymore, and I knew that I would never wear a helmet again. I remember the last football game I played and I wore equipment. I cried. Like, number one, because had we won, we would have went to the playoffs for the first time in school history for like a very long time. Secondly, because I kind of knew that my time is probably toast, right? All that to say, I would never have been a 20-year-old man playing in a football game against high school seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. I would never. But Martin, besides that, if you're going to finesse your way onto a job, you gotta at least look like you belong there. They lost 58 to nothing.
That's the number one thing that gets me about this whole thing, is that it shows you, like, yes, don't get me wrong, football is a game of power and speed, but it does not necessarily matter if you are like the way the San Francisco 49ers block. And I'm not going to go too inside football. You can follow me on everything else to get all of that. But
yeah,
San Francisco 49ers.
I'm sure there's women
players
that listen that are like, "Come on, get with the sports." But
they take smaller. Men too. Who knows? But they take smaller players and block bigger ones all the time, right? It's just the way that their run schemes and the way it's angles and all this like leverage and so on and so forth. And IMG angled and leveraged them to a 58-point ass whooping, and it's crazy because Taylor, you remember when you were 16 and when you were 17 years old, and then you remember when you were 20 and 21 years old, and your body was different.
Yeah, 100%.
Fundamentally different.
I can't imagine, I'll be 31 in 2 weeks. I can't imagine 31-year-old Ted going up against the 17-year-old Ted. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, I used to claim I was like, 210. Boy, 31-year-old Ted is gonna whip 17. You know what I'm saying? But man, how are you 20?
I would toss 17-year-old me around like a rag doll. I would beat my own ass so crazy.
I'm telling you, in a ridiculous way. But like I said, the overarching point that I ended up, or conclusion I should say, that I ended up coming to is like, bro, you cannot finesse your way onto a job or in a position and fail miserably. Like that is something that you just can't do.
Because you know what? Had they lost like 30-32,
yeah.
Pardon me. That's just a disgusting way to say a score. And that's not even a realistic score. Who loses 30-32 unless it's like the Big Ten, Nebraska, Illinois, right? The first points are a safety. If they lost 28-21, nobody would have blinked.
Mm-hmm. It probably wouldn't even be discussed. But the fact is that in the middle of the game, the announcers are talking about how this is like getting dangerous for the kids on the field. At one point, there was a kid that got hurt, a number 54, and they said, we don't even have a number 54 on our roster. So somebody had to have gotten fired. Like multiple people should have been fired.
So apparently, like there's this whole, I was doing some background on it. There's this whole like service that markets the high school games to the big broadcast networks, and this service got duped. But really, you know what it is? It's all a money grab. If you look at those other schools that are in that list, like they were supposed to play
Duncanville. They were supposed to play September 10th.
Duncanville, Texas, who's played an international, not an international schedule, but a national schedule so far. They played,
Modern Day.
They're supposed to play Modern Day. They played Modern Day rather. The Matha in DC, which has all types of athletes, Liberty in Nevada, and Johnson Central in Kentucky. I believe Johnson Central is a good football school. I don't know anything about Liberty in Nevada. The only Nevada high school I know about is Bishop Gorman.
Yeah. That's where Snoop Dogg's son went. And then he stopped playing football.
And then also multiple professional football players.
Yeah, for sure.
Was one of them. Or he wasn't one of the pros, but he was one of their cohorts.
I just, dog, whoever was in charge of the finesse game, though, hire him.
Nah, see, because he playing
the job done.
But one of the key things about running a scam is knowing the game you're playing. How do you play a game on Friday and then turn around again and play it on Sunday?
Bro, they're sharing helmets. They're sharing helmets.
Can't do it.
Brother, the quarterback had a different color face mask.
Yeah, and it's really sad because like some of these kids, some of them are just 18, 19-year-old whatevers. But some of these kids are like kids that are trying to get seen and get recruited. And I've read some stories of kids who went there. Yeah. They went there for their junior year in high school thinking they were transferring to. And I mean, hell, you look at the schedule, you're playing against the top talent, but you end up transferring to a school that, you're not accredited. You can't get this, you can't get that.
They were living in a hotel.
Living in a hotel, all types of wild stuff.
They don't even have an address for the air quote school. They don't even have an address, man. They said they never went to class. Like one of the air quote kids, graduated high school in 2018. And now he's on this high school. He's 20 years old. This is the wildest. Like, I can't wait for the documentary. I don't even want to say 30 for 30 because I think ESPN is going to stay far away.
I can't imagine they'll be too close to home after broadcasting the game. That's the big thing. That's, I find it funny because I watched the Cocaine Cowboys documentary. We can move on after this, but I watched the Cocaine Cowboys.
I'm watching it.
The newest one.
Yeah, I'm watching
How far
it now
deep with Sal and Willie.
Yeah, Sal and Willie. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you this. Finish it, and next week we'll come back, and I'll tell you what Sal Magluta and Roy Johnson, head coach of Bishop Sycamore, have in common.
All right, but yeah, who has now been fired, I guess. I don't know.
As a matter of fact, put that on the notes because I have. It's a funny story, and all we'll have to remember to do that for next week.
Bet, we'll do. That's crazy. So speaking of jobs and things of that nature, you put in the notes. So let me ask you this: has anyone ever tried to fight you at your place of employment? What's that about?
So yesterday, Shaquille Brewer, a MSNBC reporter, MSNBC, yes, man, some of these letters. He was doing a live report from the Gulf Coast, right after covering, Hurricane Ida and the aftermath and the result of it, right? So he's standing there in front of the water doing a live shot. A live shot in news talk is when you see somebody and the anchor will go to, and now we'll go to TK in Plano, Texas, and then Taylor's back there. He's like, "Thanks, Martin. Over here in Plano, Texas, we got Smoking with Ted, and this brisket, it's been cooked all night." So Shaquille is doing his stand up. He's doing his live shot, and a guy starts to come up to him, and he's like, he sees the guy. He's obviously, the guy is off camera because the camera is focused similarly to the cameras are focused on us right now, kind of a shoulder up headshot. He sees the guy, and he's about to throw it back to the anchor in the studio because he says, "You know what? I'm going to have to go because this guy is coming up looking like he's," and before he tosses all the way back, a guy walks up to him and in a very threatening way. And the cameraman cuts off. But as the cameraman cuts off, you see Shaquille grabbing the microphone in one hand and grabbing the other hand like Creed.
I'm ready to throw him.
He was ready to get to it. And so it just made me wonder, if you ever been, obviously Shaquille Brewster, his job is on television, right? And so, he's front facing and very, professional, and he's very good at his job on top of that. And the mere wherewithal to be able to say, this guy, I think I'm about to get into a fight. I'm going to have to kick it back to you, right? as the man.
Yo, that's nuts. That's nuts.
So it just made me wonder.
That clip. I saw that clip. That was insane. I wonder what that dude's beef was. But
people have a lot of issues with the media in general.
Calm down,
especially, and I don't mean to generalize or stereotype because it's honestly unfair, because the way social media is, everybody's experience is curated for yourself and the people that are around you, right? So it's very easy to get sucked into a noise chamber of just things that are just terribly incorrect and wrong. But there's a lot of misinformation in that area of the country, and people blame the media for it.
Yeah, that's a fact. In terms of me, nobody has ever called my hands out at work. Especially not now. Like what I do now, dude, I don't even pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like if they call me, more than likely, I'm gonna ignore the call, and I'm gonna hope that you just shoot me an email, because I don't even want to talk to you. So I've never run into that, especially now. Although I will say I've called hands at work. I've called hands.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
I know. This was a long time ago. This is back when I was working in the service industry, but short story. I had already actually gotten hired for a new job. So I was already like on like, like if they piss me off one more time, right? And so I was in the back waiting to run or to get my food to take to a table. And the owner of the restaurant, he was in the back. It was a small little family-owned restaurant. He was in the back. I was standing there waiting on my food to come out, and he had kind of a history of just like talking to people like he was out of his mind. And that day I was not feeling it. Like, so he used a lot of choice words that started with F, and told me, I better do this and blah 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 blah. I politely took off my apron. I proceeded to hand it to him. He said, I take that as your resignation. And I said, let me tell you something. You're going to take something else too. You're going to take these on out the door with you, brother. So needless to say, that was my very last day working there. And but yeah, that was the only time that it happened. But yeah, no, I was going to whip him. I was gonna whip him. Oh man, he was gonna get it. He was gonna get it, bro. Because you're not gonna talk to me. Not gonna talk to me crazy back next to the salads and the oysters. Okay, like,
I didn't think about this until just now. I've walked off the job too.
Okay,
I walked off.
Okay, where?
I didn't realize it until just now. But I was because realistically, I was gonna get fired anyway. But he was okay.
Yeah. That's the time to walk. That's the time to walk off.
So I was working at this gym. It was February 2020, so it was actually probably a great. I mean, I was going to get fired anyway.
Damn, this was recent.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have the gym anymore. That's now that I think about it, because I still follow them on Instagram, but I don't think I've seen them post recently. Damn, sorry to that man. But anyway, I was working as a gym assistant, right? Like, so this one person was like teaching the classes, and my job was to like go around, like pick up the weights, like help people up off the ground, that type of stuff. I would go in the afternoons, and as a result, I got a free gym membership, right? That's really what I was there for. It was a free gym membership. And if the class was like, and the classes that I was like assisting, there's like 3 people in there. So I could like do the workouts while, I was in there getting it. Okay. Man, one Friday, the owner comes, right? Like, I'd probably worked there for like 2 months. And then one Friday, the owner comes, and he's like, I'm just kind of doing my thing, like what I have now settled into my routine of 2 months doing, right? And like, people liked me, right? Like, the clients liked me. I had some friends that were clients. To my knowledge, I didn't know I had any issues, right? But I just think the guy didn't want me to work there anymore, right? Which is whatever. It's your show. You can direct it. But he came in there, and he was just telling me like, it's a circuit training spot. So like every 30 seconds or every 3 minutes, there's a new thing to do. Every 3 minutes, he was telling me a new thing to do as well. Literally, as the bell rang, he was like, why don't you go do that? 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 To the point that I'm over here like, bro, you could just do it. Like, if you're going to sit there, like, it's that, like, that's more efficient, right? For you to just do it. You know what I'm saying? I could do my if you see, like, maybe I was about to, like, I'm on the way to go do that, bro. I have a whole 30 seconds to a minute to adjust all of these things, but I'm spending 15 talking to you, and now all of this, it's like, so what do we? So man, I got a phone call, and it was from a professor at USC who I had known, but like I didn't know why she was calling me, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. So I told them, I looked at him. I said, my sister's calling me. I got to go. My sister was not calling me. I go, return the call. She calls me, tells me, I just got into USC.
Oh, no,
congratulations. Well, she was she was calling me to tell me, like, yeah, like, congratulations. You're accepted. Your initial letter and scholarship and so on will come in, a couple of days. But I want to call you personally, because she's the one who personally recruited me, right? So I'm like, I'm like, all right, bet I'm in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Like at this point, I don't even know if I'm going or not. Ironically enough, I just got the email today that said my degree has officially been conferred. So congratulations to me.
Hey,
but thank you. But I walked back in there and I took one look at him. Really, I took 3 steps back to the gym. I said, there's no way I can work the rest of this day. There's no way I can work the rest of this day.
All right.
So I walked back in there and I said, I have a family emergency. I have to fly to Detroit. I'm going to the airport. And I turned back around and I left. And then the next day, or the next one, I was like, I'll be back Monday. Or I was like, I'll text you or whatever. And then the next day I text him, I said, I'll be back Monday at the end of the business. He said, okay, Tuesday, let's have a meeting and bring your ticket. Right? Because of course I didn't go to Detroit. Set my ass right here in California. Celebrating.
Wait, he said, hold up. Time out. Ref. He wanted you to bring your ticket stub from
He said, bring your ticket.
No.
He said, bring your ticket. Oh, no. CTK, because I am dedicated to the scam. Okay. So what I did, I reached back into the fold into my Photoshop days. Adjusted a couple numbers on a Spirit Airlines ticket. And it's all of a sudden, I traveled on Friday at 7 p.m. and arrived back on Monday at 3 p.m. Brought that to our little meeting there, printed that bad boy out, said, here, there you go. You had to pay me for the rest of the day.
See, now that's the way you finesse.
That's how you finesse somebody. That's how you finesse somebody. That's how you do it.
You're going to run me my 750 and my...
Dude, actually like $20 an hour. It was an insanely high-paying job.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, yeah. Run me my 60 buckaroos.
So I will need that. I was supposed to be here from 7 to 10, but you were being such an asshole that I had to leave. Now, if you'll pay me the money that you owe me for you being so rude, then we can settle this and we never have to speak again.
Dang. So then what happened on that Tuesday? Like, how'd you end up like never returning though?
That's what we went and had a meeting outside the gym. He gave me a check.
Oh,
and then he gave me a check, and then I said, "This check doesn't reflect Friday." And he's like, "Well, you called no show on Friday." I said, "No, I definitely showed. I was here, and I had an emergency." And then the thing, it was like, if you have an emergency and you have to leave, you get 3 emergencies.
You get paid. Yeah.
I had one emergency, 2 more, and I had terminated my employment. So I'm gonna need that money. So he took cash out of his pocket and gave it to me.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Doesn't sound like that gym is probably open anymore.
Well, that's just what happens when you're the son of a lawyer.
Yeah, don't sound like that. Don't sound like
you read the terms and conditions. Like I read the term. I don't read all the terms and conditions, but I read a significant amount of them, especially if it's something like signing a contract into like that type of deal, because I'm going to get you on the back end if you don't know what you're offering me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's damn $20 an hour to pick up some weights. I'm over here thinking like, damn, I'll be picking them up for free. I need to tell coach.
Most people pay to pick them up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm cleaning up the gym after the workout because he's my boy. I need to tell him, hey man, let's have a meeting.
If it looks like you might need some assistance here because you don't have anybody helping you pick up the weights after.
Hey, straight up. I wanted to tell you, man. I went to the Cowboys game.
How was Jerry's World?
Okay, well,
do people in Dallas refer to it as Jerry's World?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's just the funniest name to me.
I know, man. I've been plenty of times. Like my wife and I, when we were there, we were talking about it. She was like, "We've been to so many games," and I was like, "I know, for real, right?" Like I was like, "We've been here at least 10 times, like at least."
Oh wow.
Like, and I know that, like, well, see, like to somebody like you, it's like
no, that's significant. Not even that's a lot of times to go to a football stadium.
Yeah, we've been there so many times. I can't lie. Like we've been there at least 10 times. No exaggeration. just because they offer the opportunity for like the party pass thing, which is, you know, you pay your, I don't know, it depends on the game, I think, but it can range 30, 50, you know, it can, of course, if it's a bigger game can get up, but where you don't have a seat, but you could just walk around, hang out, enjoy the stadium. You could watch if you get close enough, you can see the field, but you just don't have a seat. They have like little bar areas around, like on the back lower level, on the back
How
of the
much? How
lower
much
level, I
does
should
that
say.
cost?
So that's why I say it just depends on the game, but on average, I'd say $30 to $50 a ticket. It's dope.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's dope.
I'm not
It's
saying
dope.
that
And
it's
like,
not. It's just the concept. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and part of me, because I look at this
it's
part
a
of
genius
like from
concept. Low key, it's a genius concept.
but like just from the journalist concept, I look at it like, all right, so I'm going to charge you what $125 less than I would if I gave you a ticket, right, at a seat, and as a result, I'm going to lock you in here for 3 hours so you can hear the crowd, be a part of, feel like you're a part of something. But I'm sure that those beers and burgers and whatever are right there are all like $30. You know, it's 20. You know what I'm saying? Just hitting you over the head every single time.
Yeah,
they make it all back. They make it all back.
Yeah,
that's
if not more, because you could pack way more people in. Like, dude, like it's not just like a few people that take advantage of the party pass either. Like it's packed. Like it's packed. Like it's always, you know, especially if it's like the first game of the season, I anticipate that it is going to be full of people. And like I said, if you get there early enough, you can get close enough to where you can be watching the game on the field. You're just standing. But for the average party pass participant, you aren't watching the game on the field, but the screens in there are so big that like you said, you're a part of the crowd. So there's a big catch, there's a big touchdown, it's you know, and you're all a part of it. I mean, but it's perfect for somebody like me.
It's like the Deer District or any of those types of places. These auxiliary
LA Live, right?
They don't get like they don't get like that at LA Live.
But like they got a
LA
Texas
Live
Live out here too.
Well, because LA Live is like it's like restaurants and bars and all these like what you're talking about is very specifically in the stadium.
In the stadium,
like you have to scan a ticket and walk through security, and now you're subject to all, like you can't bring a gun in there and all these other
no
subject to all stadium. Of the all of the different laws that fall in NFL stadiums.
Yeah, no, you're in a stadium. No, it's like I said, it's perfect for a fan like myself, because like I don't like the Cowboys. I don't care whether they win or lose, but I love to be a part of, you know,
the football atmosphere.
Game. Yeah, so it's perfect for us, and my wife doesn't care. Like, you know, and if your feet get to hurting, it's like, all right, well, let's leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, just leave. Go to Texas
very
Live.
Much the way. It's very much the way I go to baseball games. Like I love going to baseball games, but I don't need to know who's pitching, who's hitting. Like if it's a getaway day, okay, whatever. It was like, damn, Mookie Betts isn't playing today. That sucks. I would like to see Mookie Betts play, but if he doesn't play, it's not going to affect. Whatever. I'm not going to go to the game tomorrow because he's going to play tomorrow. I was like, if I'm going to go Wednesday, I'm going to go Wednesday. What I get is what I get.
Yeah. No, very much so. So yeah, we've been there plenty of times, but all that to say, man, and I know we discuss this often. Sorry, guys, it's what life is. But there wasn't a mask in sight, dog. Not a single mask. Like we were masked up, and there were a few people, you know, sprinkles. But like for the most part, dude, we were in the game for 10 minutes, literally. Like no exaggeration, 10 minutes.
Was it the level of, yo, you walked in here, so everybody was wilding, and you hit that Homer Simpson walk in the door, walk back out the door?
Pretty much.
I don't blame you, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. We walked in, we looked around. Nobody's wearing masks. It's just a normal. I'm talking. It's a Cowboys game, 2019. Like COVID never existed. So we did a couple little walk back and forth. Oh, you want to see about a corn dog? Sure. So we walked, see. Yeah. I looked at her. She looked at me. Ready? Want to just go up the street to Texas Live? Yep. All right, let's go. We just left because it's a lot less packed there. They got outdoors where you can, get some food. I think it's
feel a little bit better
about
being. You can feel better about not taking a mask on outside. Yeah,
Dog.
when I went to the Rams game, I kept my mask on the whole time.
I would too.
But it's different vibes here. When I went to Texas, it messed me up. Texas and Georgia, when I went and visited both of those places, and I actually had to buy new masks because I just completely disregarded. I started disregarding the ones that I had. I know you're supposed to recycle the masks and so on and so forth, but I just
we already talked about it. Recycling doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm glad I got you on my crusade of the world is ending.
Just throw all the paper on the ground. The bottling companies are behind it all. You know what I'm saying? That's where we are now. Oh my God. My sister actually, dude, that's so funny.
I'm about to say, you're going to end up, you're going to see somebody get mad at you for littering, and you're going to tell them it doesn't matter because Coca-Cola.
Oh, look. So my sister went to college, right? And so she bought herself a microwave. She already has a job out there and everything. Well, she transferred her job. She works at Starbucks, but so she bought herself a microwave. She's probably got way more money than us. She just sits on her money. She doesn't buy anything, but she bought herself a microwave, right? And so I was like, why didn't you ask us? We would have bought it for you, because we said we were going to get her something, for her to, at school.
A dorm warming gift.
Yeah. So she hit me the other day and she was like, I need some masks. And I was like face masks? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, we get the 100-pack off of Amazon, the disposable ones or whatever. And she said, no, those are bad for the environment. I swear. And I just didn't have the heart to tell her, hey, that shit don't matter, dog.
Don't get me wrong. She's not all the way wrong. In the micro, yes, it is bad for the environment. But sweetheart, go get them masks if you need them. Because
at the end of the day, we are all
either way.
We are screwed.
You're not putting it in either way.
Yeah. She was so concerned too. She was like, no, I want reusable ones. So I was like, all right, bro. I'm gonna keep.
I will say though,
off of Amazon.
I will say though, that is the attitude to have. I have in my apartment. Oh, I had a guest recently, and she was like, "What is this towel for? Is it to wipe to dry your hands off?" She was like, "Oh, I use paper towels." I was like,
Really? Martin was over here no. We are filling up the landfills at a rapid rate.
No, and don't get me wrong. I had at the time 72 rolls of paper towels in my apartment because I buy these things in mass and in bulk. But
I just bought some from Sam's Club yesterday.
But it's just, what are you using?
Huge pack.
It's what are you using it for? If you go to places really what put me on that level of thinking was visiting islands. You go to Hawaii, for example, in some of the nicest hotels, they don't have the paper towel dispenser where you got to swoop. They'll have literal hand towels because it's more eco-friendly to wash and dry the hand towels than it is to produce and import, and probably cost effective as well. But hopefully,
I imagine,
yeah, but don't worry. There was just a Category 4 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Don't worry about it. Pacific Ocean's on fire. It's all right. But
hey, so you had mentioned Texas and Georgia being super wild places, right? Today is September 1st.
It is interesting that man, I saw this. I actually thought about this. Go for it.
Yeah, today's September 1st. So out here in good old Texas, you can carry a handgun on your person. No repercussions, no license to carry needed.
That's just honestly, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You know, my cousin said this to me one time because he was born in America, but spent most of his childhood growing up in Bermuda. And I never really contemplated it until he's told it to me. But America is too big. If you look at all the other countries in the world besides like Russia, right?
Yeah, I feel
or like
that.
China,
I feel that.
like there's like America is too big. There's too many, because the idea that just the amount of guns in Texas right now made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, the average household in Texas, and don't quote me on this, don't Google me, but when I did my license to carry class, I'm pretty sure that the figure was 15 per household.
And see, I can't imagine any scenario in which I'm going to need 15 guns. I just literally, I can imagine a scenario where I would need one gun, but I can't imagine a scenario where I would even need 3 guns, multiple types of guns.
I got a few.
I know you do, but if I lived in Texas,
I got a few. I got multiple types, all that.
I'm not going to lie. If I lived in Texas, I would feel obligated to buy a gun. I would feel like I had to buy a gun. Well, no, because everybody else got a gun.
Got to know how to shoot a gun. Yeah, true.
Well, everybody else got a gun. So so then what happens? Like, what is it? In the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. I'd be the blindest person out there. Me and my put him up, Dukes. Like, no,
you're gonna get shot.
What are we doing? I'm gonna get shot.
But so to that point though, and I will say this, like, right, like to the rest of the country and the rest of the world, it does sound wild. It's like, what? Y'all are letting people carry guns without licenses? And like, yeah, it is wild. Let me not say it sounds wild. It is wild. But do I personally think or see that it's going to have like a huge impact in terms of like increases in violence or, gun incidents? No, because everybody already had a gun. And if you wanted to carry a gun and you didn't have a license to carry, you were carrying a gun out here anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody already has. The one thing that I could say about being in Texas, bro, you don't hear about that many people. You hear about that many people robbing people or shootouts and things like that. Like in Detroit, for example, you don't hear about all that out here. You know why? Because everybody has a gun. If somebody wants to carjack me, it's gonna be a real quick day for them. Like real short, bro. It's gonna be real short. So
I don't know if I agree with the premise that I hear about less gun violence in Dallas and in other cities. I feel like it's pretty par for the course. I wouldn't say I hear more.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not Chicago. Like, no offense to my Chicago natives out there, but that's all I'm saying is that like sure, there's still violence, but to the magnitude that you would imagine it is with the average of 15 guns per household, it's not like that, because people think twice about breaking in houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a higher floor of calamity that can occur. It's like, like
that's a hell of a word. This man just said calamity.
I'm just thinking about it. Like, all right. Think about, like, for example, I don't have to think about it. I can use a great example. Earl Thomas's wife stormed into an Airbnb in which Earl Thomas and his brother were allegedly, having a sleeper,
running with 2 women. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I forgot. We're a little bit G. You're right. They were partaking in some.
They were entertaining. They were entertaining 2 women through the night.
Was it 2 to 1? Thomas, I thought it was 1 woman.
That might be the wrinkle that I'm forgetting. I think it might have been just 1 woman, which was the
It could have been 2, but either way it goes.
Any event,
they were playing Twister, and she wasn't invited.
Is Nina Thomas came in with a gun. Like, okay, now don't get me wrong. Was Nina Thomas right to be upset? They were in Texas.
That's what I thought.
Was Nina Thomas right to be upset? Absolutely. Your
Absolutely.
husband is cheating on you in the middle of a pandemic with his brother. However,
well, kind of, yeah.
I don't think anything I said in that statement is false.
It wasn't. It could be taken some way, but correct.
Punctuation is key.
Yeah, right.
But the idea that Nina Thomas could have killed 3 people in a crime of passion with relative ease is just one that is just like that's where for me, like that's a bit much, right? She like, don't get me wrong, slash the tires, I get it, you know what I'm saying? But all Thomas is a professional football player. If Nina Thomas is chasing after him with a knife, he is going to get away.
Yeah.
If Nina Thomas shoots him, I don't know how good for shot she is, but
he's not making it.
Do you understand my point? That's what I'm saying. It's just a higher threshold for calamity.
They figured it out, though. I think they stayed together.
You know, good for them.
It's none of
or
my.
Not good for
it's
them.
none of my business.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's good none
for them
of my
or not
business.
Good for
them. Up to them to decide. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you're correct though. I'm not disputing that at all. It's just, like I said, like it's just living in Texas. Like, you know, being from Michigan, it was so much different. You know, like don't get me wrong, there are plenty of weapons in Michigan. There are plenty of guns in Michigan, but down here, it's like it's nothing to walk into Kroger and see this, like, you know, this man with a cowboy hat on with his gun on his hip on the outside of his pants. Now, nobody thinks twice.
Interesting thing, when I was in Louisiana, wouldn't have bothered me too much, but the guns weren't like, if somebody had a gun, you figured they had it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and the reason wasn't personal protection. Like that wasn't like, you know, until before 2005. Like, don't get me wrong, I grew up around all types of guns. I shot guns before I drove a car, right? I'm not like, and it's not like I'm like scared of guns or anything like that. I just have a healthy respect of what a gun can do, right?
Yeah, right.
You know
right. Understandable.
I'm not.
Yeah,
like, there's nothing to be actually afraid of. But it's just
it's not gonna fire unless you make it fire.
Yeah, it's like the idea. Like when I was in Atlanta, I was afraid of people driving, so because I had no control over that.
And they drive terrible out there.
But you know what I'm saying? I have no control of it. I'm looking at people drive, like literally veering into the same lanes. I'm like, this is my. When I'm in Texas, I don't have any control of the fact that everybody else in this thing got a gun. Like when I was in Louisiana, yeah, you might see the guy with the cowboy hat and he have like a pistol on his hip or like a shotgun in the back of his or a shotgun in the bed of his truck. Or not in the bed, but in the back of his truck, that back window, have a shotgun or something.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
whatever that rack thing is, I don't know. Wouldn't think anything about it. Because also, I didn't have the thought of I might be shot in this grocery store. Like I didn't like the mass shooting wasn't a thing in the way that it is.
Wasn't
now.
A threat.
Like you can't tell me that the amount of guns in Texas didn't grow. I without just knowing, Google this because I'd like to know. And if I'm incorrect, I'm a big man. I can take it. Let me know. But I would imagine the amount of guns in Texas has probably gone up exponentially in the last 20 years. Like I bet if you look from 1980 to 2000, it probably rose at a steady rate. And then from 2000 to 2021, so 21 years, I bet it drove exponentially.
Oh, I'm sure.
As mass shootings rose, more people wanted to get a gun. But I feel like when I was growing up, the only people that had guns were the people that were shooting them at animals.
Yeah, right.
You never shot an animal before, have you?
Nope.
Exactly.
Never shot anything except for, targets at. I've never shot a human, never shot an animal. I've never shot anything. I've only shot a gun in an area where you are designed to shoot a weapon. Literally.
That's crazy. You own guns, and I've killed more things with guns than you have.
Yep. And I got plenty of them. But yeah, I imagine that you are right though.
It's mind-boggling to me. Like that fact is mind-boggling to me.
Listen, my first gun that I purchased, was obviously out here in Texas because that's where I pretty much became an adult. Like by the time I left Michigan, I was still considered a minor. I left Michigan at 17. So first weapon I bought was in Texas. My man handed me the gun like as if like it was just like a piece of gum. Like they, you say, I want that one. They say, okay, cool. Take your money. They go run your background in the back. That takes all of 10 minutes. They essentially call the FBI and confirm that you aren't a felon. And they hand you the gun and you go about your business. Bro, my man handed me, it was at the pawn shop, right? Like my first gun. Bro, he handed me the gun, no bag. Like literally just handed it to me. I said, bro, can I get a bag or something? Like I'm still a black man. Like I can't just walk out the door holding a 9mm, like as if it's just like.
And that man said, "Actually, son, this is Texas. Yes, you can."
Bro, you know what kind of bag he gave me? A bag that said "thank you" all over it.
I believe it,
bro. I was like, wow, this is insane. Like this is crazy. I don't know how old I was. I was young, but I was like, this is wild. Like, yeah, man. Texas is. I think you're right. I think the U.S. may just be too big, and I think Texas should just be its own country.
Because I just can't imagine that the entire like that. I know that people here don't feel like I don't. That's just it's just terrifying. But yes, U.S. is a little too big. Like if it was like split into fours, you know what I'm saying? Like split into fours, or I kind of like smack down the middle, like you like cut the line on like the most western half of Michigan, and like probably like the draw across like the southern line or the most northernmost line of Oklahoma, maybe. Yeah, or maybe the southern line of Kansas. I don't know if those two states border. I'm blanking. There might be Nebraska in between. Just put the line at Nebraska. And I think that like it'd be good.
It's like that meme I've seen where it's like, if the left is going against the right and then they got the United States split in half, and it's like, who wins? And it's like, man, the right side is gonna whip the left side's ass because the right side got Alabama, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, like Florida. Like, let's not forget about Florida. Like Florida itself is like it's an insane place. I would never live in Florida. I'll live in Texas for the rest of my life. I will never live a day in Florida. Never. That place is crazy.
Maybe I've been to Miami once. I used to go to Florida all the time for vacation. I don't know. Maybe Miami.
I'd vacation.
But at this point,
I'd vacation.
At this point in time, though, I'm only like at this point in time. If I move anywhere that's backwards, I'm moving back to Louisiana. Like, stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to, the floodwaters I'm used to.
Like literally, I'm about to say literally. Before we go, I do want to and this is your home state, so maybe you should have said it, but I do want to send prayers and thoughts out there to everybody that was down there affected by Hurricane Ida. It's wild out there from what I've seen. So I do want to say to any of those people that are affected, if you do happen to hear this now or in the future, thoughts and prayers are definitely with y'all. Prayers on a speedy recovery for the state and cities affected.
Tell the energy company to turn on the fucking power. That's what I have to say.
They cut the power off? See? Look. See? They in cahoots with ERCOT.
No, they didn't cut the power. They didn't cut the power. But as you know, it is incredibly hard to live a life in 2020, whatever year this is, 2020, 2021. Yeah, it was hard in 1990. It was hard in 1980 to live a life with no power, especially today, especially in Louisiana where it is incredibly hot and people are trying to repair their homes.
Yeah.
Man. And as you know, it's no good being without power in extreme weather. It's just, thoughts and prayers, I guess, to everybody who's affected. But what I don't want to be overshadowed in this, like was overshadowed in Katrina, is like, yes, this hurricane was an act of God, but the reactions that we are having right now is nothing more than man-made problems. there's no reason why the New Orleans the whole entire city of New Orleans not having power is an infrastructure problem.
That's crazy.
It's infrastructure. It's not because it's so cold or so hot. Like it wasn't because it was so cold in Texas that they turned the power off.
No,
that's not the reason why. That's not the reason why New Orleans does not have power is because a hurricane hit. New Orleans doesn't have power because the structures in which that was used to build the power. I tweeted one out today. It was rushed through. Of course, 100-mile-an-hour wind is going to knock it over.
It's going to knock that out. Yeah.
But that's not the hurricane's fault. That's the person who built its fault.
Nah, for sure. And the city's fault for not maintaining or with the upkeep of that. So, nah, for sure. Well, yeah, man. Pleasure to you. Of course, guy. Blessings, all of that. Until the next time, everybody out there, make sure you keep up with us on all things social at So Let Me Ask You This. That is just the you, not spelled out, unlike this podcast, which is spelled out. So let me ask you this. Until the next time you hear our voices, I'm TK. That's Martin. We'll catch y'all later.
Peace.